Hey, it's Mike, and today I have a Unity tutorial on how to set up the Unity third-person controller. And so I'm creating a Universal 3D project in Unity 6 and called Unity third-person controller. So we're going to see how to set that up because Unity comes with a starter asset that allows you to quickly get a third-person controller to test with. So let's create the project and we'll go into Unity. Okay, so this is the base project that you get when you create the URP. We can remove these README assets. And what we want now is to go into the package manager. So in the package manager, we're going to start search for starter assets. So we want the starter assets, third person. It's available here in the asset store for free. You can add this to your assets. So what you want to do is download it and import to the project. And select install upgrade. It may download a bunch of stuff too the first time you run this. So we want to import this. It also sometimes asks you if you want to make changes to the APIs or whatever. If it does, just say yes. It didn't do it this time because I've already imported it before. So what you get now is the starter assets folder. And what we want here is the third person controller. So first of all, let me just create a plane for the character to walk around on. And we'll make that 10 by 10. And make sure that it's set to the origin. So that's the ground. And then what we want to do is go into third person controller prefabs. And this nested parent armature unpack, just drag it in. And it will bring in this character. And it'll compile a shader, okay. And what we want to do is unpack this. So prefab, unpack completely. And what we do is we open that and first of all delete this main camera and drag all of this. Drag all of this up here into the scene, and then you can get rid of this one. And so now we have this all set up for the third person controller. So by default, so this will now work. It'll by default walk, run, jump, and it works out of the box. You'll notice this UI that's here. If you don't, this is for the joystick controls. But if you don't want that, all you have to do is delete this canvas right here. You can also delete the event system if you don't want a UI, and it will work all the same. So you'll notice that it's really slow when I'm moving my mouse. So what we want to do is probably the one change you're going to want to make here is to change the mouse sensitivity on the moving the mouse, because otherwise it's very, very slow. Now, can you do that in the Cinemachine virtual camera? There really isn't anything in here to do that. So what we need to do is go into the player armature and into the third person controller script. And we need to add a parameter here to that to make that work. So what we want to do is right click that and say edit script. And that will open up in your code editor. So what we want to do is I'm going to put it right below the sprint speed, so we can add a tooltip for mouse player mouse sensitivity. And they are using publics instead of serialized field privates, but so I'm just going to use what they're doing, what Unity did themselves, and then we're going to create a vector 2. We'll call it look sensitivity. Sensitivity. And we'll create a vector, a new vector 2, and we'll default it to 1. We'll default it to 1, which it'll do this. It'll be the same as it does now. So player mouse look sensitivity. So let's copy this variable, and then down around down around line 200, we have these two lines here, the camera rotation function, so the target yaw and the target pitch. So all we need to do here is multiply it by the new variable .x and the new variable .y. So it will then multiply it by the sensitivity, and so you'll be able to control that. So let's go back into the project. And it will recompile that script, and you'll see it refresh this. So we have, there it is, look sensitivity. We have our tooltip, and then the X and the Y sensitivity. So you can control them separately. So let's just go into play mode. So it's still, because it's 1, it does that, so it's very slow. So if we want to change that, let's change it to 10 in the X, and then now our sensitivity in the X is 10. Still slow in the Y, so if you also want the Y to go, you can change it to something different, or you can change it to the same. It's up to you how you want it done. But then, so 10 is a lot better in terms of how controllable it is, but you can change that to fit your needs. The other thing is, when working with this pack, is maybe instead of a plane, you don't want a plane. It comes with some prefabs here in the environment folder. So if you go into the environment and just drag in the environment prefab, it'll bring in a whole demo environment for you to test it with. So now, and of course it's back to being, and the other thing you can do here is set it to 0, and then there won't be any mouse look. You can turn off the mouse look, and it'll just be like this. So it'll be sort of a follow camera, but from when it won't rotate. You won't be able to rotate it. And then we'll just set this to 10, 10, and then we can rotate it. And it's much more controllable when you set it to 10. So that's it for this video. Hope it helped you. Stay tuned for more videos on Game Creator 2 and Unity, and we will see you in the next one.